Well, hello everybody. This is Romel Pravia from the Future Real Estate Millionaire Coaching Podcast. Today we have a very special treat in Donna Cook. Uh, Donna and I connected a few weeks ago. She is a rent to own specialist, and I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions with regards to rent to owns. And Donna is going to help us and sort out all the misconceptions, all the information that may be wrong or good. Donna is here to help us get to know what the rent to own program is all about. So, welcome, Donna.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. And yeah, just by the way, if you guys can see her background there, she's in Costa Rica, enjoying her vacation, but always working as any real estate investor who's, very ambitious and successful. So, Donna, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and, when you started your journey, real estate journey, what got you into, rent to own and where you're at now?
Well, most of my investing started in 2009, but I've always been involved in real estate. My dad was a builder and had many rental properties, but I started my own journey then. Actually, I did flipped a lot of houses in Winnipeg area, and then got into small multifamilies and built some cottages, and then along the way, I learned about rent to own and started taking some training on it, and turned some of those houses, instead of selling them, we did rent to own on them. And I'm glad we did. I love the strategy, and it's such a win-win for everyone. And then also, I'm also looking for a larger multifamily now too. So going towards future, I've been looking for multifamily. It's not always easy to find.
Right.
And looking for that in Alberta. I do rent to own in Manitoba, and we'll be doing it in Alberta too. We've got a team started there, and working with tenant buyers right now, and have some land under contract. So
yeah,
who
that's
knows where that'll
good.
go.
That's awesome. So you mainly were doing single family rent to owns. Now you're thinking about getting into multifamily. And where do you leave us out? Why not come to Ontario?
I like my Manitoba market.
Okay.
Slow and steady. It's, all our houses are under 400,000. It's nice for investors, and it's a much easier market, I feel, to get into. And there's a lot of rent-own providers, in Ontario, so I'll leave that to them. And I'll stick with Manitoba, and I love the Alberta market too.
Okay. Beautiful. So I guess, demystify for us. I know it's a fully loaded question, but demystify rent to own for us.
I know there's, a lot of people do it different ways, actually, and there has been some bad ways, that gets you bad, press or whatever you want to call it out there. But I always want it to be a win-win for everyone. We're looking at someone that maybe it doesn't qualify for a mortgage, so we take them through qualification process. I have a mortgage broker and a credit advisor that works with us. We usually have a 3-year term. Once we've gone through that process and we have a plan in place, then we start shopping for a house with my realtor, who is, special at this.
Okay.
And once we find a house that the family can afford, a good quality house, and then I have an investor work with us, and they will purchase the house, and then the investor is passive, and then I take care of the whole process. I'm taking care of the qualification, the tenant, overseeing the credit coaching.
Right.
We take care of the house, although the tenant really is taking care of the house, especially.
Right.
And the financials, and the purchase, and the exit strategy, which we do know about, in 3 years. We know what we're selling it for. And then also some of the advantages, let's say for the investors, we don't have any renovations. The tenants will take care of the maintenance on the house. We don't have any vacancies, and we have no realtor fees when we exit the strategy either.
Beautiful. All right. Well, it sounds like it's a long process, right? I've heard of people that do rent to own, but then they basically they are let go after the term is up. In other words, whoever did the rent to own, they end up finishing right at the towards the end. But it seems to me like you're holding their hands throughout the whole process. Would that be correct?
Right, because we don't want to just, say, hey, you can afford this house in 3 years and then let them just go and maybe they'll continue with some of the issues they had. We
Right.
want to stay on top of it.
Yeah.
It's not, we want them to be successful. I don't want them to end up walking away and not qualifying. That's not the point of the investment.
Right.
And by helping them through it, they should see a successful end.
Beautiful. What do you recommend should look for a rent to own? What type of individual, family, person that's looking into rent to own? What type of individual are you looking for in this case?
Well, it depends on their situation. Everybody's got a different situation. Sometimes it's a credit situation, and
Right.
maybe something happened in their past, but now they've changed it and they're willing to work towards, their future. And, hopefully we are changing some people's future, but they have
Right.
to have that willingness to be
Yeah.
that way.
Right.
And, or is it just saving for the down payment? And that's all part of the process.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
because they have to have an upfront a deposit,
Yep.
and then the balance of that down payment will be paid monthly, because usually a rent-own client does not have enough, otherwise they can go get a mortgage.
Correct.
And so that is part of the process of them saving for that down payment.
Okay. Fair enough. So take me through the process then. So I'm looking for, a place to rent, but I've heard about, rent to owns from my friend. So I contact Donna Cook, and then from there you take over. So what exactly happens at that point?
Well, I have a website, and they have to go to the website, get a little education off of it, and go through the application, and then my team reviews it, and if they look good, we get on a phone call, and then next step would be send them to the credit advisor, and
Right.
and then we make a plan for them. So it's a
Okay.
fairly long process, but we just
Right.
feel like, the more due diligence we do up front, the better the end result will be. But they do have to have a deposit, and they
Right.
have to have
Right.
enough income to cover the expenses.
Correct. Okay. What kind of deposit do you guys require?
We like to see 3.5% of the purchase price.
Okay.
So, today's price is not what they're buying it for. They are buying it for an appreciated price, and they
Sure.
know what it is up front.
Right.
I provide all the contracts through the whole process, whether it's
Right.
with the rent-own tenant or
Yep.
with my investor. Everything is, all up front, and, okays along the way, like getting the property checked out and things like that.
Right. Okay. Cool. Cool. So yeah, obviously you deal with investors, right? I could never get or understand how it is that you're how it is that you are connecting with investors. So what do you do? Do you contact an investor and say, look, I have a candidate, a good candidate for rent to own. They're looking for this type of house. Are you able to help them out? Is that how you align the two or connect?
Well, I have a relationship with investors. They come to me and they're looking for a good investment, or, to help people.
Right.
And, of course, we're helping people, but we still have to make money. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It
Yeah.
is
Of
an
course.
investment.
Sure.
And so like I said, part of the reasons we like it is because there's no maintenance, and we know our exit strategy, and we have a good return. And so, I go over everything with the investor, and then
Yeah.
if I, let's say they're pre-qualified for, I'm just going to say 400,000, and I
Right.
have a tenant that's looking for a house around the 400,000 mark, then
Right.
we can bring them together and
Okay.
do a deal.
Okay, perfect. So you are constantly in touch with investors then, I take it?
Oh yeah.
And you've got a list of investors that you work with, which is
Yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah. I have a
How,
newsletter and let them know what's happening, and yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Eh, before we get into where the investors can contact you, um, are you at this point in your business where, you've got your investors and you focus more just on getting the candidate, or are you still looking to grow your investors list?
Both, absolutely. Sometimes we may have an investor, but then we don't have the right tenant at the right time, and then
Right.
you can't expect an investor to hang on for too long.
Yeah.
We do have different people coming all the time, but we could have nobody for 2 weeks and then 5 people. So it's just
Right.
a little bit of hit and miss. But
Yeah.
that's why it's nice to have a few people pre-qualified and
Sure.
understand rent to own and be ready to go.
Sure. It's all about timing, isn't it?
Yes.
I find I find the real estate industry is all about timing, right?
Yeah.
Such as when you're asking for private loans for private lenders, one day they'll have the money, the next day it's lent it out. So I take it it's probably similar in your case.
Right.
Okay, beautiful. So let's say that I live in Manitoba and I've been renting for whatever 5 years, right? I've got a nice job that's paying me $80,000 a year. And I've got a $20,000 down payment, right? How do you determine, how to help these people in terms of, the housing? And obviously they have a lot of, I would take a lot of requirements. So take us through the interview process that you go, with them, or that you
Well,
do with
first,
them.
like I said, you have to fill out the application so we can see where they're at. If they
Right.
do have a $20,000 deposit, that's great. That, they're quite a ways into their what they need for a down payment. But then we're
Right.
going to look at what's their background. Did they have some hiccups in their credit and that, and
Right.
what's the
Right.
credit score right now? And
Yeah.
and I found even like the banks are really tough to deal with these days. And
Yeah.
maybe they've been good the last couple years, but
Yeah.
4 years ago they had some issues. So the banks still are not always taking someone on. And
Mhm.
so that's why they need that time to, have some good credit, let's say, with the rental, and then at least they can get into the house that they want now and not
Right.
keep renting, and their kids are maybe having to change schools and that. So now they can get
Correct.
into the house they really want to be in. And also they can paint or do any other improvements, as long as we okay them. And
Mhm.
it's not quite their house, but it almost is. And they take
Right.
care of it that way too.
Right, absolutely. So then, somebody who has gone through a consumer proposal. Is that a candidate, or is that somebody that automatically say, wait a few years until your consumer proposal is fixed? Or
We can take
how do
them.
you deal with that?
Yeah, we can take them on, but again, we have to go through the process and see, okay, what led to it? Where are you at with it? Are you
Right,
close to the end? And, once it's, you can't get a mortgage if it's not discharged. So once it's
right.
discharged, and then again, it can be tricky dealing with banks. Some of them want 2 years
Mhm.
after it's discharged, and some, we've done a couple that we did right away.
Right,
And, you know, only certain banks are going to do that. You have to have a good mortgage broker working with them and tell them the story of where they're at now,
right,
and
right.
and it's successful.
Right. Okay, but who puts up the money for the investment? The investor does, I take it, correct? Not the bank.
Right. They're going to put the down payment, just like buying a rental house, because really it is a rental house. We have a
Right,
rental agreement with the tenant, also a offer to purchase, but
right.
it is a rental. And so they have to put 20% down, qualify for the mortgage. And then once they do that, then then it's passive for them after that.
Okay. But the mortgage is with the investor, not the bank,
Yes,
correct?
they are on title. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Beautiful. So from the investor point of view? What's in it for the investor?
Passive. It's I feel like very safe investment. I mean, there's no guarantee in anything, but you do have someone taking care of the property.
Mhm.
Sorry about that, but I was absolutely quiet before here.
That's okay.
Anyway, the tenant is taking care of the property. You know, like I said, you're not worrying about maintenance and that.
Right.
The income comes from the appreciation, the mortgage pay down, and the cash flow. And
Right.
then we also have that deposit. So in case something goes wrong, we do have a deposit.
Okay.
And then if for some reason the tenant does not qualify or something goes different or they change their mind, well, we still have plan B and C. You know, we could put
Right.
another rent-own tenant in, or we could rent it, or we could
Okay.
sell it.
Okay. Okay. Very good. So the investor basically makes the cash flow, right, from the rent, and I assume probably, some equity, over the years, right? So when it comes time
Yeah,
to,
the appreciation and the mortgage pay down.
right, okay, appreciation. Now, how do you determine the purchase price? Like, how does an investor determine a purchase price?
Well, we do that. We look at the property and the area and the market at the time, and then we determine. You know, I determine the price with my realtor, and you know, it has to make sense. You
Right.
know, if it's not going to be you know, a good enough investment, we're not going to do it. But it
Okay.
also has to be fair to the tenant.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so being that a real estate industry, like many industries, it's very competitive, right? What differentiates you from somebody else who's doing a rent to own?
Well, we do it ethically. And I'm not saying other people
Yeah,
aren't, but I'm just saying there is different ways of doing it. And
sure.
I feel like I said, we really go for a win-win-win situation. And
Right.
we take care of the tenants very well and do a lot of due diligence with them up front. And that's where I feel a lot of problems can come about.
Hmm. Awesome. What type of investor are you looking for?
Somebody that wants, usually they want cash flow. They're looking for maybe something a little bit short term, you know, because, you know, maybe you got different things going on in your portfolio and they've got a long, you know, quite a few long-term investments. Well, this is something a little bit in the middle
Right.
and has good
Okay.
returns. And, you
Okay.
know, I do all the work
Okay. There you go. Yeah.
and then they're helping people.
Okay. How long is the term usually? Like what's the
Three
average
to four
term?
years. Yeah,
3 to 4
usually
years.
three, sometimes four.
Okay. Okay. Um, okay. So you basically take an application, you look at where people are at now, right? And then you put a plan together so that they can, rent to own, right? Purchase a
Right.
rent to own. What happens in a situation where, you've placed the individual or the family and, they lose their job? What happens in that sort of scenario?
You know, every scenario is going to be different. We'd have to see what can we do, you know, can we extend it? You know what I mean? And maybe they just kind of catch up.
Right.
We've had a couple people leave, but not in a bad way. One of them, you know, they ended up able to qualify for a different house, a more expensive house. And so we gave them a little bit of their money back.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
they were able to buy that house, and then we sold the house for a bigger profit. So
Right.
sometimes maybe there's just a different ending.
Right. Right. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, no, I've seen both sides of the coin. I've seen, somebody who had a rent to own, and then, just pre-COVID, when things were just like booming, they acquired the property at a huge discount at that point. And so, that was great for them, right? Because when they went to purchase it, the
Mhm.
price was way up there versus the purchase price. But yeah, I've also seen it where, where people, where the investor loses because the price, that they choose as a purchase price, it turns out to be lower than whatever the market prices are at the time of the sale. right? So how does an investor calculate and mitigate their risk when calculating the purchase price? I mean, obviously you
Well,
look at the comps, yeah.
yeah,
Um,
but we're doing that all up front, and you know going into it that this is what you're going to make on it. So if the market went up a little bit
yeah,
more,
yeah.
then that is for the tenant. We're not losing. It's just
It's
that
just
is what we agreed to. That's our contract.
gotcha,
But I'm
gotcha.
also in a market that's very steady and goes up slowly and
Right,
has
right,
been,
right.
pretty easy to calculate
Yeah,
so
yeah.
far.
Okay, okay. So it's easier to
And
figure
I would
out
never go,
the exit strategy.
yeah, and I would never go into a depreciating market either. So
Yeah, yeah,
it
of
just,
course.
to me, it wouldn't work.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Okay. So now what other type of so we got people that perhaps are in a consumer proposal, somebody who doesn't have enough of a down payment to get a mortgage through, a bank or even a broker. Is there any other scenario, or type of um individual that would, where the rental owner would be a good fit?
Sometimes if they're maybe new to the country and don't have enough established credit yet,
Right.
maybe a student, I haven't had one yet, but
Yeah.
maybe just got out of school and doesn't have the down payment or the credit, but has a really
Right.
good job.
Right.
Self-employed,
Yeah.
somebody
Yeah.
has to have a full 3 years self-employment,
Sure. Sure.
statements before they can get a mortgage.
Gotcha. What about immigrants? Would
Yeah, that's why I
immigrants fall
say,
in
yeah,
there?
new to the country,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
sometimes that works. Yeah. And
How,
then I do have people like that.
how many years of employment do you look at as far as, like for an immigrant family that comes in and it's new to the country, both, the husband and wife are working, but they've only been in the country for like a year. So what kind of,
It,
income are you looking for?
well, it depends on the property and that, and it depends
Uh-huh.
on their job and how
Yeah.
secure it looks. And, we're
Right.
looking at all of that. So you kind of just take a little bit of everything, put it together, and
Yeah.
here's their story, and does
Right.
it seem
Right.
to make sense?
Right. Awesome. Okay. In Manitoba, what are you said the markets have been pretty stable there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's made them stable?
It always is. I don't know what to say. Like, it's a very diverse market. We're not dependent on oil and gas and that sort of thing. And
Gotcha. Okay.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of different industries here, and we do have a lot of immigration. And,
Mhm.
like I can give you 30-year stats here, and the market just slowly goes up continuously.
Right. Okay. What's been the return there, like on average?
Well, I don't like to say returns, you know what I mean? I don't
Right.
want to, I can't guarantee anything, and that would be
Of
in
course.
a
Yeah, no, but
discussion with an
historically,
investor.
historically, what's been the average return in Manitoba per se, a single hole, maybe three beds, one bath, or three beds, two bath?
What do you mean, like
So
the investment?
annualized the appreciation, the annualized appreciation, how
Oh,
much?
okay. Like, could be 3 to 5% depending,
Okay,
but you're also making your income on the cash flow and the
right.
mortgage pay down as well too.
Okay, that's true. That's very true. Okay. Yeah, and anything else that, an investor should know about before contacting you, um, or a client that, that is thinking about buying a home. They don't know too much about a rent to own, but would like to find out more. What else can you tell us about the rent to own strategy?
I say for a tenant, they should really go to my website, and then
Okay.
there's information on there to explain how it goes. And
Yeah,
if it's not for them, then maybe they won't apply, and that's okay. They have to be comfortable with it. And once
absolutely.
we do that, and they go through a bit of the application, and we talk to them and we explain it more, and then they can
Right.
make a decision.
Okay, perfect. What is your website?
It's MB
Mhm.
RENT, the number two, own.com.
Okay.
So mbrentown.com.
Perfect. Okay, Donna.
And that's for tenants. That's not for investors.
For tenants, correct. So investors just basically should be in touch with you through um, your Facebook, LinkedIn, or how does an investor
I'm on all of
contact you?
yeah,
What?
I'm on all of them. I have a website, freedomlifestyleinc.com.
Okay.
And then my email is donna@freedomlifestyleinc.com.
Okay, perfect. How long does the process take, the application process? Just to kind of give our audience here some
For a tenant?
expectations. Yes.
Yeah, usually a couple months. By the time, you're
Yeah.
always waiting for somebody or waiting for their documentation or,
Sure.
they send it to us, then we have to do some work on it. And then we have to
Right.
send it to the credit advisor. So there's always a lot of back and forth stuff. So I like
Right.
to say, give it a couple of months and
Yeah.
then we can get out and look at houses.
Wow. You are very patient. I don't think I would be able to wait that long, but yeah, I guess
And
it
sometimes,
worked for
yeah,
you.
it's happened a much shorter, but I'm just saying, worst case scenario, I like to say 2 months.
Right. Okay. And for an investor, what type of same sort of time frame I take it for them to get involved in investing in a rent to own?
It could be faster. It depends. Are they qualified for mortgage right now? If
Right.
they are, then we can discuss everything and
Okay.
then get started sooner. But if they're starting where they haven't got a pre-qualification, well, then we need to go through that process, and you know what that can be like. So, depends on how fast it all comes together.
Okay. And so the investor, let's say they do talk to you and they decide to move forward with it, right? From their point of view, they're getting the cash flow. Once again, I just want to make sure that everybody understands, where because my audience, I have a Facebook group called Raising Capital for New for Real Estate Investors, and a lot of them don't know about this rent to own, right? So as an investment, you mentioned cash flow and then, capital appreciation, and then you've got the security of a deposit, right?
Right.
Okay. So, sorry, go ahead.
Well, we're doing a joint venture. I have a
Okay.
joint venture agreement with the investor, and like I said, I take care of everything in it.
Okay.
Except for getting the mortgage. They
Right.
will qualify and get the mortgage, and then they are on title.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. So then you have a stake in the deal too,
Absolutely. Yeah.
correct? Which is good. Good to know because obviously that means that, you're taking part of the risk and
Exactly.
you're not just simply the person who's processing everything and that kind of thing. So that should give investors some peace of mind, right?
Yeah, I'm not taking a fee up front. I'm, in it all the way along the way, same as the investor. So,
Gotcha.
some people, I know there is some companies that just take a fee up front and then kind of walk away and leave it with the investor. And I don't know, I
Right.
don't really like
Right.
that.
Gotcha. Okay. And when is the fee paid? Is it paid upon closing or how does that work?
It's a percentage. So we work
Okay.
together. It's a joint venture agreement percentage. Yeah.
Okay. Joint venture agreement percentage. Perfect. Okay. What else does Donna Cook do? Are you solely into the rent to own, or is there something else that you're into in real estate?
Well, I do have small multifamily houses in Winnipeg. I'm here, so I'm looking at real estate here.
Okay.
I've been all
Good.
through
Good
the
for you.
country from the south. Now I'm in the north and heading to a real estate event next week,
Nice.
and
Nice.
then multifamily for sure in Alberta.
Yeah,
That's top
you're
of my
thinking
list.
about multifamily now, which is good. How many units are
I'd
you
like
looking
about
at?
20, to
About
start.
okay.
But
Okay. That's
you know.
very aggressive, very ambitious. I like it.
But rent owns always a great strategy. It'll always be there, but
Yeah,
sometimes it's nice to do something a little bit bigger.
absolutely, absolutely. If you ever need any sort of referrals or connections, as far as multifamily are concerned, I know a few investors out that way that specialize with multifamily. I'm learning myself. I'm new to the multifamily game, but yeah, it's definitely it'll pay more dividends than your single family type of property. That's for sure.
Yeah, I've had a couple of them under contract and, just through the due diligence, it didn't work out, but
Right,
you learn
right.
something every time you do that.
You always do. Always. I always say be confident and run your numbers, do your due diligence until like you're certain 100% that it's a good investment, right?
Yeah.
So Donna, thank you for joining us. I know that you're a busy woman, but I also know that you know what you're doing. I mean, just in speaking with you right now, I would feel comfortable myself to apply to a rent to own through you, right? Because you have the experience, you have the maturity, you've got all the angles covered, and the most important thing is that you handhold your clients, right? Which is really important. They don't, you don't want clients to be out in the open and not know where they're going.
Right. And we have a team, of course, it's
And
not
you have a
just
team.
me.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Perfect. Okay. So where can our audience contact you? Email, Facebook, LinkedIn, your website again?
I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm on Instagram. And my email is donna at freedomlifestyleinc.com. And my website for investors is freedomlifestyleinc.com.
freedomlifestyleinc.com. I like it. Well,
Yeah.
Donna, it was a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you for, informing us and giving us, a lot of knowledge. I'm a lot more knowledgeable on the rent to own now than I was about 35 minutes ago when we started the show.
Okay,
So
good.
again, thank you. And, we wish you luck. And audience, please do get in touch with Donna Cook. If you're an investor, you are doing all types of different strategies, and you want to learn more about how to join forces with Donna, get yourself some, cash flow. I would say, more conservative cash flows as you have a deposit, you got the appreciation, and Donna is going to be your partner, so you should be in good hands.
Hopefully they are.
All right, Donna, thank you so much. Have yourself a fantastic day.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.